Hey, chess lovers, welcome back to the Chessyard. This is Dhairya Bagga, and I just wanted to take you through a game that I just played. It's almost 11:06 p.m. right now as I recorded Indian Standard Time, and yeah, feeling exhausted, but I thought, I'll just quickly play and also record a game. So, yeah, wanted to show you this one. Now, I was playing against a 1893 rated player, similar rating 1900 for me. So, yeah, interesting matchup. If you see the game, was mostly in my control, and again, accuracy of 88 plus, and game rating was 2350 instead. So, yeah, let's just go through it, and I hope there's something to take away for you. So my opponent starts with d4 here, and as I say, I go with c6 followed by d5, right? So again, the same setup with black. Uh, Opponent now develops the other knight, so both the knights are out. I develop my knight first, and then the light square bishop. Again, I choose which square to go for, dependent on the games. But yeah, developing the pieces is more important. Opponent also develops the bishop basically, and now plays pawn forward with the idea of taking out their light square bishop to either squares. I play e6 now. Opponent offers me a bishop trade, and instead of taking, I just come back with the bishop onto g6. The idea is always, if the opponent takes, you just take back. You open up this h file where most likely the opponent will castle. You develop your pieces, queen, bishop, and line up everything towards the h2 square. That's the primary idea. Opponent develops the queen to e2. Again, a good square for the queen in front of the king, especially it's not castled yet. And that also gives my opponent a space to castle on the queen side if required. I develop my knight, and opponent castles queen side. So, which means opponent is generally expecting me to just develop my bishop somewhere, not of course hang it in a piece, but probably develop, and then they can go ahead with the pawn storm on my king side. Uh, so yeah, I developed the bishop, which would mean probably I'm about to castle queen side, king side. Opponent saves the knight because otherwise, if I can simply take and damage the pawn structure, I bring back my bishop because there's nothing that I am eyeing for now, and I thought, okay, let's maybe hold on to the castling for now and see what my opponent is trying to do. And opponent, as expected, starts pushing the pawns. Now, as the pawn storm has begun, I thought, okay, let me quickly trade first. So the bishop is out of the equation, which was eyeing my kingside diagonal, and I can kick this bishop back, right, by playing pawn forward. It comes to f4. Now I can again trade off and damage my opponent's pawn structure, but then I was, thinking that suddenly the other rook also comes in. I'm not castled yet, so I don't want to open the center right away. So instead, I developed my queen to c7. The idea again that if the opponent takes, I have to defend my bishop as well. They didn't take. They also jumped in with their knight, maybe setting up a classical trap where you generally end up taking and suddenly pawn. You are forked, but this was not working at this point in time because I had a battery as well. So I better took with the bishop here. Computer suggesting you take with the knight. My idea was once I take and opponent takes with the pawn, which I probably felt that this would happen. More so because queen and rook are lined up for the center. Then I'll just put my knight above in the center, which also attacks a pawn, and it's a good square for the knight, right? And then suddenly e5 is also weak for the future. So opponent saves that, so that I'm about to take a pawn and cause a fork to the rook and the queen. So now I take the pawn with the knight. My idea was, because so I thought about this before playing in the game as well for 5 6 seconds, yeah, some 9 seconds odd. The idea was, because I'm attacking a queen with the knight, it's okay, and once my opponent moves the queen, pinning my knight. I've walked into a pin basically. I can simply save by f6 also. So that's what happens. I play f6. Post my knight is attacked. It's again defended twice for now, so it's all good. Now my opponent plays pawn forward to f3, attacking my knight. Now, if you see, you can jump into a square, just thinking that, oh, it's a nice fork, but the bishops go backwards as well. So yeah, that would blunder a knight. So the only way to save the knight for now was to bring it back to d6. Opponent takes here, I take back, opponent takes it back, and now I thought, okay, what can we do here? I can castle, but yeah, my rook will be on an open file, but yeah, I lose the pawn straight away, right? With a check, and yeah, that looked uh, okay to me. But more enticing was to castle on the queen side. So I thought, okay, let's castle on the same side. And in the long run, when I attack the queen with my rook, the pawn on e3 will fall, right? So that's also a vulnerability for my opponent, right? So, and that's what happens. I get a check, it gets taken away. I just move my king. Opponent develops back the knight, which had gone back to uh, its original square to begin with. And then I just centralize my rook, attacking the pawn. Queen moves away. I take the pawn, and that helps me with eventually the idea is to double up the rooks and also get more piece activity with queen. Opponent develops, sorry, brings the rook to e1. I can now trade off, or I can just double up. I thought doubling up was better, and so does computer things. We trade off here, and now opponent decides to play pawn forward. Maybe just try to create some counterplay on the queen side. I first went ahead with a6. My idea was to make a escape or breathing square for the king. Opponent continues to push the pawn forward. There's no problems with this pawn for now. I think it was passive to waste two moves in such a situation. And I just then meanwhile I was thinking that, okay, maybe I can just move my knight to an active square, allowing room for my queen to eventually then maybe give a discovered check or something. Maybe just take the queen with a discovered check. So that's what my thought process at that point in time was. So just move the knight to a more active square, which also pressurizes important squares in this position. Opponent goes pawn forward now to g4. Again, when you don't know what to do, you just start pushing pawns, and that's not how chess is played. If you notice, the rook never moved, right? Very passive. Entire game, the rook is not moving, and you're just pushing pawns. Your queen is not doing any activity, standing there from last 4 5 moves, and instead of making a piece to active squares, you are just going ahead with pawns. So now I get my queen. So I had two options. Computer setting to centralize it. I thought either queen to f4 is better, or to g3 is better. In the game, I thought g3, because yeah, I think either I can go ahead with discovered checks by taking something if I'm placing my queen over here. But I thought, okay, let me just trade off, because my knight is also here and something good can happen from here, which actually happened in the game. Opponent ignores the threat of the queen lingering around their king. I just give a check. And opponent takes back with the rook. So here the opponent had to just bring back the knight, and it was the only way, because now simply queen gives a check, you come back, now give another check with the queen. Because of this active knight, opponent has to just move the king, and that's a back rank mate. So again, creating that those minor threats, in the game, improving. I think positional play was much better, developing and putting a square knight on an active square, not passively, which my opponent did, by moving it 3 times in the game. And not moving the rook at all, just for a trade off. It came, not creating an escape square for the king, which again I did here by placing on to a6. So yeah, overall a good game, and I hope there was something to learn, and this helps you improve your chess. Like always, thanks for watching, and I shall see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.